A murder mystery shakes the DC universe and keeps readers on the edges of their seats. We're talking about Heroes in Crisis by Tom King. Welcome to the Oblivion Bar, a safe haven for all DC comic fans. I'm your host, Khalil Hill, and today we're going into the 9-part series that is Heroes in Crisis. This is going to be part of a series, so if you haven't subscribed to our channel and you want to see the future videos on this book, make sure to subscribe. But diving right into it, in here we are introduced to a location called Sanctuary, which is basically this hero rehab clinic for superheroes and their past traumas. It was created by Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But what they find when we get there are a bunch of bloodied and murdered superheroes everywhere. Which one of these deaths shocked you the most?
For me, it was probably Poison Ivy, just because she was like the biggest name of all the deaths. I think just if you don't know anything about the book beforehand, later on you get to know more about all the other people and you start to feel for them. But from the get-go, Poison Ivy.
Okay, I get you. What about you, Robbie?
I think Wally, as in Flash. So, that to me felt like the biggest. Now, Poison Ivy more so from Batman, I know, but the Flash, I feel, is naturally gonna be like, well, how the heck did he die? He's like one of the main. He seems to be one of the main heroes. So and I know there's a whole thing that you all might be waiting to say.
I think he's the only one that didn't actually surprise me because he dies a lot.
He's always dying. Every time you turn a corner, Wally's dead.
But to be fair, this isn't the first time I've seen Wally. Well, this is the first time I've seen Wally die in this capacity. There's only one other instance where I've seen him vanish, and that's in the new Young Justice show. And he doesn't even really die, I don't think.
I mean, as we know in that, he's dead.
Okay, right. But he essentially just vanishes. So this is he was murdered, essentially. So, yeah. And again, I don't have as much comic background, so that shocked me the most because he's a big name hero, so I wouldn't expect him to get killed.
I feel you. No, I think leading up to the release of this book, I was keeping up with it, and everybody was, guesstimating who's gonna die. Is it some people throw out Kyle Rayner, some people throw out Wally and whatnot. The death that shocked me the most would have to be the fact that a whole multitude of people died, because I thought it was just gonna be one person, and I was like, whose death could be so important that it just shakes everybody. But no, I was not surprised that Wally was dead. I just feel like, I don't know. I just sometimes think, I'm just thinking do they know what they're going to do with this character? I mean, he's kind of the whole reason we have DC Rebirth, and now he's dead. But also, it's kind of like that feeling of when everybody's dead, no one is dead. Okay, you have Infinity War. Everybody gets snapped away by Thanos, and it's fun to watch, but it makes you think, okay, how are they going to bring them back in the next movie? In this, I'm thinking, how are they going to bring half of these people back?
We don't talk about Marvel stuff here.
Oh.
I'm nipping that in the bud.
Overruled. We're talking about whatever we want.
This is a peaceful place for opinions.
So, getting to the main characters of this book, Harley Quinn and Booster
did you
Gold.
Ship Harley and Booster?
Harley Gold. Booster Quinn? No, Harley Gold. Yeah.
Harley Gold.
But main characters of this book, you have Booster Gold and Harley Quinn. Do you think that these are a good choice for main characters, Ethan?
I really like it. I love it, actually. I'm a big Booster fan in general, so if you put Booster Gold in a book, I'm going to love it. But I really like that they took this very serious topic, this very serious book, a lot of deaths, a lot of really emotional moments, and they made the two main characters two of the most humorous characters in the DC universe. Booster Gold and Harley Quinn are both supposed to be basically just funny guys, and so they took them and they put them in this really serious book to sort of lighten it, but at the same time, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that I kind of want to add on to is the fact that since they are typically more of the comedic characters and they are put at the forefront of this serious book that kind of exemplifies the emotional weight and the seriousness of the story as a whole. So
Yeah, and I kind of like how it's different from when you have a group of these superheroes like this. You know, you expect a trinity out of it. You expect them to sometimes lead it, or you know, a variety of a couple other characters that are big in the Justice League, but you don't usually see Booster and Harley coming at it. And so I really like that it's just different.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I mean, you have two characters that, I mean, we've had Suicide Squad, so a lot of people know who Harley Quinn is. Booster Gold is a bit more obscure, unless you've watched, you know, some of the animated series from Justice League Unlimited and the Brave and the Bold, Batman, and all that good stuff. But I like that they put them in there. I've never been a huge Harley Quinn fan. I never jumped on the Harley Quinn, like, you know, craze as it is. But she's a great character in this. You get a lot of depth out of her. You still get the psychotic nuttiness, but you
Definitely psychotic.
but you get this, you know, this deep emotion of what she's been through, and I actually really appreciate watching the inner workings of Harley Quinn and what goes into her relationships. Speaking of relationships and what brings people together more than almost anything in the world, other than food, is booze. And Joe, I want to know what you brought for us.
I went with another one of my Alltech favorites. Alltech is a brewery here in Lexington, and they have a Blackberry porter that they've created, a really, really dark beer with a lot of flavor. They added blackberries to it, and then they finished it off in a bourbon barrel. So they have so many flavors just meshed together, and those blackberries really pop. You don't get those coffee flavors, but it's just the blackberry with some smoothness of a little bit of bourbon aftertaste, a little bit.
I'm definitely a fan. This is the first time I've ever tried this. I'm typically a fan of Alltech beers. I really like the bourbon barrel stuff that they got going. I think that's aging or putting beer into barrels of different alcohol has been a big thing lately.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of bourbon, so that's a plus. Plus, it reminds me of my favorite ice cream. I'm going to do another Lexington plug here for Crank and Boom, a great local ice cream place that has a blackberry buttermilk flavor. My favorite ice cream, and this reminds me of that a lot. So
That's pretty good.
Me? I like this beer. It's good. You should get it.
buy this beer.
The shameless plug. I love it.
We didn't get money for this, just so you all know. We didn't.
But we're trying.
The shameless plug. All right.
Okay, it's less about the money and more just about getting free beer.
We just want free beer. It's not that hard.
All right. Well, getting back to the story, our main characters, Harley and Booster, they both come up with their own insane ideas to, you know, clear their innocence. Robbie, who do you think had the more insane plan?
I'd have to say Harley, just because, well, the nature of her plans are generally more insane anyway. Again, like, she's a bit psychotic and crazy. But, I don't know, Booster's, like, I'm kind of torn on that one, too. Because Booster's is also pretty wild, but he's trying to do the Batman way as well, which I don't think is too crazy of a thought, considering he's around Batman. But,
You know,
I don't know.
thoughts on that? Okay, Booster, I think Harley's plan is insane. I think Booster's plan is just idiotic. I think Harley's plan is insane because she took on the entire Trinity. And she went in there fearless. Like, you see her pretty much taking Wonder Woman's lasso and choking out Batman and pretty much outing Batman and his lies and his plans and his schemes. And then she takes off. Booster, on the other hand, I get what you're saying. He's trying to do things the Batman way, and that's why I say it's idiotic, because you're Booster Gold. You're not Batman. Don't do things Batman's way. He's not the right kind of person to, like, follow in his footsteps.
At the end of the day, Harley's plan works, and Booster's plan doesn't.
We haven't gotten to the point where we know if Booster's plan has worked or not, to be fair, in totality.
I mean, he got socked at super speed
He did. So far, it's not working out for him, but I'll give you that.
But more importantly, I think that, like, you can say Harley's plan was crazy, but she beats the whole Trinity. She obviously is not that crazy. She had it planned out perfectly. She just wants people to think she's crazy.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. I think it was smart. Joe, what do you think?
So if you just look at the plans themselves, I personally would follow Boosters because I understand where he's going with it. He's like, I have a plan. I can follow out this plan. I can make the steps to follow out this plan. Harley's just like, let's just do something and just see what happens. So I would definitely, but Harley's did definitely work a lot better. It was definitely a little bit funnier.
Even
Batman.
even Superman made that slight dig at Batman, like, dang, Bruce, she's as good as you. And he's like, no, she isn't. And then Wonder Woman's all like, boys, calm down, not the time. But speaking of which, Batman, can this guy be trusted? Can they really trust Batman? I say no, because he looks out for the best interest of everyone, but you can't trust him at his word. Like, you can't believe the things coming out of his mouth. You know his actions are, gonna be...
Do you have kryptonite in your belt?
Of course not. Of course not. No, I don't have it. But no, like, he literally lied to their faces. Like, how can they trust him? What do you think, Ethan?
Can you trust Batman? What do you mean by trust? I mean, I can trust Batman to always do the right thing, or do something that he thinks is the right thing. I don't think he's ever going to do something that is bad. But I don't think that you can take him at his word.
Yeah.
But I think if you know Batman, you don't expect that, so...
True.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more like you can't trust what he says necessarily, but you can trust his actions more so. I think that if that's kind of what you're getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna follow the right steps ethically, but the things that he's gonna say might not be ethic.
I don't even think that he's gonna always do the ethical thing. I think he's gonna do the ethical thing that's right by Batman. We can trust him to always be Batman.
That's the fun thing about ethics, though.
They're subjective.
This is a whole different can of worms.
I know. Next time, as we talk about absolute truth and relative.
I say
totalitarianism.
Is morality relative? Next time on the Oblivion bar.
We will get there. But okay, so Tom King, he writes a lot of emotions into this book, and I just feel like there's a lot that readers can take away from a story like this. What are some of your thoughts on that? What do you think readers can take away from a book like this, Joe?
Honestly, it kind of helps normalize a lot of things, especially trauma and mental health. Because you watch these things, watch these shows, these movies as kids, and you're like, these superheroes, nothing bad ever happens to them. Like, they can survive the worst and still win. And then you see them at the sanctuary, and they're like, my life is messed up. Please help me.
Yeah, I dig it.
And knowing Tom King's background, I know that he meant to do that with this book because he was a soldier and he had PTSD. And so when he writes, he tries to make characters real like that. He does that in this book. He does it in Omega Man. He does it in Mr. Miracle. You guys should check those books out. But yeah, that's part of what he tries to do, is he tries to normalize that sort of thing because it's something he's actually dealt with. Mm-hmm. And I think you can feel that in the book.
Mental health in general, I think, is like something that's getting brought to light a lot more nowadays, and this is definitely a good push forward in the right direction, showing, again, these are heroes that are dealing with these issues. Someone superhuman or above, like the average, typical, like, still deals with all these mental health issues, and it's so much so that they can bear the weight of the world in a lot of ways, but still their mental health, like this mental thing is weighing on them. So I think that shows a lot, like, hey, heroes have to deal with this. Like, it's okay, if you have some problems yourself. Everyone's going through something. And I think that's a powerful thing that you can take away from this book as well.
Yeah, I really like how it magnifies a hero, not just their ups but their downs, and I think that is one true mark of a real hero is sacrifice. And what Tom King has given us is what sacrifices these superheroes have had to make to keep the world safe, and we have real heroes in our world that make sacrifices to keep their loved ones safe, to keep their people safe. And I like how the world of comics can bring you, you know, these fantastic adventures of imagination, but also give you real depth and make you think about, you know, the real world and the real life and the places that we live. So in this, we have these beautiful, like, 9-panel confession scenes, and I love what they're doing with it.
I think it's one of my favorite things out of this book.
Yeah, I like where it's going. I want to see more of them. Ethan, what was your favorite confessional?
I'm gonna have to go with Superman, and it's based a lot on what we were just talking about, is taking a superhuman and making them human. And no one is more superhuman or more perfect than Superman, right?
Yeah.
He is the superhero. And they put him in the booth, and they sit him down, and they have him talk about real issues that he's having. And he talks about being Superman and the persona he has to put on to do that. And then he talks about being Clark Kent and how he has to play up how he's not Superman when he's Clark Kent. And then he asks the question, so who am I really? Or something to that respect. And that really resonated with me personally as well, because, you know, we all act a certain way at certain places all the time. Like, I act a certain way at work, I act a certain way around my friends. I'm acting right now. You guys are watching it in real time.
Oh my god.
So who am I really?
I would say Ethan Puckett.
But who is Ethan Puckett
But
really?
who is he really? What do you think, Robbie? What's your favorite confessional?
So I'm gonna have to go with Lagoon Boy for these first three. This one, Lagoon Boy is someone who I didn't know prior to, and this is gonna be the second time I've mentioned Young Justice because I've just binge watched the crap out of the series.
Yes.
But
It happens.
Great series.
It happens.
Watch
Young
it.
But yeah, a little bit lesser known of a hero, I think. But he is dealing with, you know, this traumatic event. He's getting shot by this laser over and over again, and you know, they talk about like, oh, this is like the 357th time that you've been, or 337th time you've been shot, and he's like, that's a lot, and it's like, that's actually nothing because I feel this every day, and I'm trying to get it to where it's point I realize that it's over and it's not real, and I think that, I don't know, that resonated with me quite a bit. I'm like, wow, that's something that, you know, I've had to work through very similar things myself and be like, okay, like, this happened, I need to be able to work through it and get past it, like, the pain that I'm feeling from this needs to kind of subside because it's not happening anymore.
What do you think, Joe? What was your favorite confessional?
Okay, so when I say favorite, Harley Quinn in the very beginning, she's like, I don't believe in trauma. And I was just like, okay, well, trauma's real. And I started to like run through that in my head, and I caught myself making the same argument that I've made to people in the world. Like, trauma is real, it exists, it hurts people, it does damage. Harley Quinn is probably the most traumatized out of everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously that's subjective, but I mean, it definitely set with me because I was like, okay, they are going for real world examples in this.
Yeah. And the confessional that I picked for my favorite, which you guys all sound really beautiful. I'm ashamed to say this is my favorite confessional, but it's the one with Poison Ivy where Harley jumps in and she's just like, boop. Boop. She's like, I'm gonna boop you again. Boop. And I mean, I just thought that it was hilarious and funny. I think Harley is hilarious and funny.
I think that plays really well with what I was saying, though, is Harley really doesn't believe in trauma. And so Poison Ivy's trying to work some stuff out, and she's like, this is a joke. Boop. And it's done.
But at the same time, Harley was the one that told Poison Ivy about the place. She's the one that told her to go there. Mm-hmm. So I think she might be minimizing her own issues.
Yeah.
And she's a therapist, actually, in real life. And so I think she's more than aware that she's actually not okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw this one at you. Do you think it's similar to what Superman's doing and what he's confessing to doing?
Yes, I think it's a lot like that. Oh, yeah. I think she plays a character in order to not have to deal with what actually happened to her. Mm-hmm. And I also think that she is there with Poison Ivy because she, like, in her mind, if she's helping Poison Ivy, she doesn't have to deal with her own stuff.
I said it's like not about her. Okay, I get that.
I dig it.
I like that.
I like this. If you like this discussion and you want to know more about what we're getting into, Heroes in Crisis is a phenomenal book. Comes out monthly. You should jump in and join us with it. But that's going to wrap up our show for today. If you liked what we were talking about here, make sure you click that thumbs up. Also, we upload videos weekly, so make sure that you subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified whenever we upload. And follow us on Twitter. We want to connect with you guys. We want to keep you up to date on what we're doing from a week-to-week basis. So follow us at Oblivion on Twitter. And that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. We'll catch you later.
A large fresh orange juice, please.